from Ajax, an exclusive from David Ornstein. I want your thoughts. I want your feeling on this right now. This is what it states: that Arsenal are working on a deal to sign a defender Urian Timber from Ajax and have submitted a proposal worth around 30 million. Ajax are seeking in the region of 50 million for Timber, who has 2 years left on his contract at Ajax. Firstly, Jess, your reaction to this news. Nobody's been talking about this. We know how good a player he is. This is one from completely, fans are completely in the dark, the media completely in the dark. But give me your instant reaction.
My instant reaction is, I told y'all earlier, wait until things actually cook before you have like outlandish reactions to things, because we don't know what's going on in the window. We haven't even been linked to him at all. Earlier, I was like, well, maybe we'll go for Cancelo. We've been linked to other people. Meanwhile, they've been working on this deal. They've gotten all the way to the point where personal terms are pretty much done. They're putting in bids. I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm ecstatic. I like that, we're trying to get Declan Rice done, Havertz done, center back / right back done. And it's just like 2 weeks into the window. Like, I'm ecstatic. But this just goes to show that, one, we don't know everything. Two, you need to be patient. And three, just because you don't hear things doesn't mean that Arsenal are not working on anything. I saw in the first 2 days of the window, because people weren't hearing anything. Oh, we're not doing anything. Edu, he's out in Mykonos. How could he work when he's out in Mykonos? You guys, just relax for a minute. But in terms of the player, I have to be honest, I haven't watched him a lot. I know that he's talented because I've heard that he's talented, but I haven't watched him enough to I'm not even about to sit here and lie and say I've been watching the Eredivisie every single day.
Yeah.
But he seems to be like a center back / right back type of option, which is exactly what Arsenal need. We were looking at Simican from RB Leipzig, and he also plays both positions. And if Urian Timber does that, then as long as he's talented, he can play out of the back, he has the technical ability, then I feel like we're going in the right direction. But you guys were heavily linked to him. You tell me a little bit about him.
But listen, he has the versatility that's already been mentioned. He can play centre back, he can play right back. He's not the tallest, but we all know that just because you aren't 6'6", that it doesn't make you instantly this bad centre back. People predict that with Lisandro Martinez. Man United wanted him. A lot of Man United fans still do. And they thought maybe this summer we would move into that space. I think because it was a good season for both the low and AWB, because Lisandro's done so well, and the priorities of striker, the priorities of midfield and goalkeeper. I think that's why we're not looking at the individual. But there's obviously been an area of synergy in terms of the talent idea of both our managers, because there's been a number of players this summer and last summer that both are linked to. Mason Mount, that we've then gone for, that you guys wanted. Of course, there was Lisandro Martinez, who you wanted, that we ended up getting. This time round, it looks as though one of our other targets, Urian Timber, you're working towards landing and bringing in to the Emirates Stadium. And I think, from my point of view, there is definitely a sense of disappointment. But listen, can play out from the back, good power, good speed, wonderful positioning. The fact he can play two roles at a young age is really key, because he understands, I think being able to play right back can help a centre back and vice versa. If you can play both roles right, you know how to position yourself as a centre back, where to be to ensure you're not in the way of your fullback. You make sure you're not getting dragged out of position, because you know and understand both areas of that defense. So this could be a phenomenal piece of business for Arsenal. And as you said at the top of the video, from my point of view, I feel like too many negative Nellies, too many Lee Gunners, as I would call them, have been too angry far too quickly this summer. I think it's a default reaction because maybe you're not getting the players that you want, or you're not moving fast enough. But remember, McAllister's been signed. Jude Bellingham's done. Outside of that, what other business has really been done at the major clubs in Europe as of now? The international breaks are now over, so expect to see things accelerate. But the quality of a Urian Timber, and maybe bringing him in, look, they want 50, you bid 30. Let's say you end up picking him up for £40 million. That is a phenomenal piece of business, considering last year, Manchester United were being quoted 60 million plus, if my memory serves me right. So you're picking him up a lot cheaper, got time on his side, great talent, wonderful footballing ability. And as I say, he can play right back and he can play centre back. So it gives you cover. I think he has the ability to try and work his way into your first team. And it gives you great competition as well because Gabriel and Saliba are looked at as your number one centre back partnership. Can he break into that? Maybe, maybe not. He can play in that right back role. And you were talking about earlier on today on the show about where Kai Havertz would be used and how Partey was moved into a right back position last year. Maybe this is it, a ball playing centre back that can play right back. Maybe that's the role in the mind's eye of Mikel Arteta he has for Jurrien Timber that would maybe fit into that perfectly. So that there's lots of quality about him. There's a brilliant footballer in there. And I'm not going to lie, as a Man United fan, I'm jealous that you're going for him. And you seem to be, listen, remember, bids only go in when players have already agreed on personal terms. So you can bet your bottom dollar that your football club has done the groundwork on the player. He's happy to come to Arsenal. That this could be a phenomenal piece of business for you, Jess. It really could.
Yeah, I was just reading to see what Fabrizio was going to follow up with. I have to say, like, in terms of the Fab versus Ornstein battle that happens every single window, Ornstein is slapping him up. Like, he's got him. He's slapping him up this window. But, he's saying basically the same thing. And so, obviously, there's a middle ground that needs to, happen in terms of the fee. But this goes to show, like, every single time that like a team usually goes in for a player, they go in a little bit lower. And so, you guys have already dealt with him. I know you guys have the European lad. I think he calls himself, like he's an Ajax person. He's already, crying about the fee and all this kind of stuff. There will need to be a compromise, obviously. But if the player's interested in the move and Arsenal are willing to come up a little bit and they're willing to compromise, then we could probably get him. But seems like he fits the criteria for the role that we were looking at. And so yeah, we'll see what happens, but I'm excited. I like at least knowing the club is working and they're trying to get things done quickly, because remember we were talking about this earlier, that even though we petered out at the end of the season, starting off quickly and doing well from the beginning can be very, very useful, when you're trying to qualify for things and stuff like that. So I think I like that Arsenal are trying to get the business done early. That's really important, I think.
110%. And I think that listen, all of our clubs have put bids in or inquiries in. I feel like as fans, we're always more harsh on our own club than we are rivals, typically. And that makes a lot more sense because we want the best. I'm a parent and I'm far more hard on my children. I don't really care what any other children do as long as it don't impact my kids. I remember being at school and teachers would always tell off the smarter kids if they were being naughty more than the less able, I suppose, because they saw such a potential future in them. And so I think when we look at our own clubs and we see our potential, what we could achieve, there's always that desire for perfection and brilliance. And you want all your transfers done in the opening week of the transfer window so you can relax for the rest of the summer. But that's not really the reality with dozens of other teams chasing your players, budgets to balance, players that there's curveballs that come in. There might be a player that walks up to Arteta or phones Arteta next week that says, I've decided I'm with my family and I want to move country. I want to go to another club. And then you have to start to manage that situation. So there's so many complexities that happen that I think sometimes fans, I think sometimes we're all guilty of kind of dumbing the situation down, making it really, really simplistic and easy. And well, I would like it's a game of FIFA, and it's not always as simple as that. And a few people are asking Jurrien Timber, who you all know who Jurrien Timber is. Like, let's not even be asking that question there. It's crazy. But as we say, David Ornstein breaking this news tonight. And I think what you said there, listen, I don't like to split hairs when it comes to who the biggest and the best is, but Ornstein for me is just he's an absolute goat. He's an absolute goat when it comes to this stuff. And typically, typically when he tweets about something, there's often a very good chance of these things happening. A very high chance, high probability of things coming off here. But I want to go to some of the comments that are coming through from the viewers. Broke and I came here, knew you would be on it. Thank you, T-Man. I appreciate that. This is, I agree with Jess. Edu and Arteta have done enough to be trusted. This was the number one defender Ten Hag wanted last summer. No one saw this coming. And they didn't. And I think that's a real a real testament, as you say, to brilliant work being done by Arsenal.
Arteta took Lissandro Martinez like personal. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. This might be one for Arteta and one for Ten Hag.
Yeah, 110%. I think that's the thing. It's look, I like a bit of competition like this. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I sort of look at it from that point of view, and I'm sure over the years, we'll take some, you'll take some, and whatever else. But viewers, we want to get your take. We want to know what you think and feel about this potential deal for Arsenal in the comments section now. Make sure the like button is being hit. Make sure you are subscribing as well. Totally Carl here says you are making me orny. That's actually very good. That's actually a very good
That is
pun.
good.
And I'm sure, I mean, I don't know David Ornstein at all, but I'm sure he's got a sense of humor and would find that to be funny, because I think it's funny, but maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. Let's get to some more of your comments that are coming through here. Is close a stretch, though? See, I don't think it is. And do you want to know why I don't think saying close is a stretch? Yes, they want 50 and you've bid 30, but the first bids are always relatively low. But the fact that you're bidding stereotypically means that personal terms are agreed and the player wants to join. Typically, that is what that means. So if personal terms are agreed, the first official bid is in, I'm sure you're going to increase on the next one. I would say it's close, because and the way I define close isn't it's a day away from being accepted. I think that's often again, it's too basic. I look at close as being, what do you have to do to get a deal done? You have to make contact, agree personal terms, ensure that he's for sale, get all your ducks in a row, then start negotiating with the club. Then you start putting in official bids. Once an official bid is accepted, it's literally medical, sign the paperwork, you're done. So if you look at the stages of a transfer, not based on my logic, based on the way the football transfer gurus tweet about it and give us information, when you put official bids in, you must be goddamn close, because we've learned already this summer. Just look at Man United and Kane. Because we know they're not going to accept any bids that we're willing to pay, we've walked away. We didn't even make a bid. So we're not even near the bidding process. So, yes, I would definitely say that the situation is close when you look at the way transfers are broken down. So, yeah, I think it absolutely is, categorically is. But look, everybody's going to have a different view, different opinion, and a different take on that. Let me know what yours is. Let's have a look here. Ornstein doesn't actually report unless it's very advanced. Yeah, and
That's
again,
how I feel about it too. Yeah,
very advanced, close. Again, it's all semantics, really, but that's just my take on it there. No one will tease you about supporting the right team because of Jess. Just revert, mate. Again, with all due respect, I'll be respectful to all the teams that we cover on the Football Terrace, but I'm never for the life of me going to swap teams. That would be a real beta move, and that is not what I am. I swear, just deal close to everyone now at the moment. But you are close. Arsenal are close to Rice, Havertz, and Urian Timber. All three of those deals are exceedingly close to happening. They're all at the official bid stage. The second bids are going to be coming in for them. Personal terms, in my opinion, are agreed with all of them, or where they will be. You can't be more. You are very close. You're literally where that is.